ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं
नारायणं
नमस्कृत्य
नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव
नरं
नरोत्तमं
चैव नरोत्तमं
देवीं
देवीं
सरस्वतीं
सरस्वतीं
व्यासं
व्यासं
ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु
अभद्रेषु
भद्रेषु
नित्यं
नित्यं
भागवत
भागवत
सेवया
सेवया
भगवती
भगवती उत्तमश्लोके
उत्तमश्लोके
भक्ति
भक्तिर्भवति
भवति
नैष्ठिकी।
नैष्टिकी। हरे कृष्णा। um श्लोक क्रमांक 22 and 22. Today we continue Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2nd, Chapter 4th, the process of creation. Shlok Kramanka 22 and 23. Prachodita en pura saraswati
चोदिता येन पुरा सरस्वती
vitanvata ajasya satim smritim mrudi
वितन्वता अजस्य सतिं स्मृतिं हृदि
स्वलक्षणः प्रादुर्भूत किल अस्यतः
स्वलक्षणः प्रादुर्भूत किल अस्यतः
त्वमे ऋषीणां ऋषभ प्रसीदताम्
स मे ऋषीणां वृषभः प्रसीदताम्।
भूतै महद्भिः इमः पुरविभुः
भूतैः महद्भिः यः इमाः पुरः विभुः
निर्माय शेते यत् अमुषु पुरुषः
निर्मायशीते यत् अमुषु पुरुषः
भुङ्क्ते गुणान् षोडश षोडश आत्मकः
भुङ्क्ते गुणान् षोडश षोडशात्मकः
स अलङ्कृशिष्ट भगवान् वचांसि मे
स अलङ्कृशिष्ट भगवान् वचांसि मे।
प्रचोदिता येन पुरा सरस्वती
प्रचोदिता येन पुराः सरस्वती
वितन्वता अजस्य सतीं स्मृतिं हृदि
वितन्वताजस्य श्रुतिं स्मृतिं हृदि
स्वलक्षणा प्रादुर्भूत किल अस्यतः
स्वलक्षणा प्रादुर्भूत किल अस्यतः
सह मे ऋषीणां ऋषभ प्रसीदताम्
स मे ऋषीणां वृषभः प्रसीदताम्।
भूतै मद्भिः इमा पुर विभुः
भूतैः महद्भिः इमः पुरवः विभुः
निर्माय शेते यत् अमुषु पुरुषः
निर्मायशेते यत् अमुषु पुरुषः
भुङ्क्ते गुणान् षोडश षोडश आत्मकः
भुङ्क्ते गुणान् षोडश षोडश आत्मकः
सः अलङ्कृशिष्ट भगवान् वचांसि मे
स अलङ्कृशिष्ट भगवान् वचांसि मे।
प्रचोदिता येन पुरा सरस्वती वितन्वता अजस्य सतीं स्मृतिं हृदि स्वलक्षणा प्रादुर्भूत किल अस्यतः स मे ऋषीणां ऋषभ प्रसीदता भूतै मद्भिः इमः पुरविभुः निर्माय शेते यत् अमुषु पुरुषः भुङ्क्ते गुणान् षोडश षोडशात्मकः स अलङ्कृशिष्ट भगवान् वचांसि मे। हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण दंडवत प्रणाम। थैंक यू वेरी मच ब्रदर, जस्ट गिव मी a minute। हरे कृष्ण। प्रचोदिता येन पुरा सरस्वतीः वितन्वता अजस्य सतीं स्मृतिं हृदि स्वलक्षणा प्रादुर्भूत किल आस्यतः स मे ऋषीणां वृषभः प्रसीदताम्।
भूतै
भूतैः
महद्भिः
महद्भिः यः इमः पुरुः विभुः निर्माय शेते यत् अमुषु पुरुषः भुङ्क्ते गुणान् षोडश षोडश आत्मकः सः अलङ्कृष्ट भगवान् वचंसि मे।
Translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. May the Lord, who in the beginning of the creation amplified the potent knowledge of Brahma from within his heart and inspired him with full knowledge of creation and of his own self, and who appeared to be generated from the mouth of Brahma, be pleased with me. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who enlivens the materially created bodies of the elements by lying down within the universe, and who in his puruṣa incarnation causes the living being to be subjected to the 16 divisions of material modes, which are his generator, be pleased to decorate my statements purport. As we have already discussed herein before, the Lord as the super soul of all living being, from Brahma to the insignificant and endues all with required knowledge potent in every living being. A living being is sufficiently potent to possess knowledge from Lord in proportion of 50/64 or 78% of the full knowledge acquirable. Since the living being is constitutionally part and parcel of Lord, he is unable to assimilate all knowledge that Lord possesses himself. In conditioned state, living entity is subject to forget everything after a change of body known as death. This potent knowledge is again inspired by Lord from within the heart of every living being, and it is known as the awakening of knowledge, for it is comparable to awakening from sleep or unconsciousness. This awakening of knowledge is under the full control of the Lord, and therefore we find in the practical world different grades of knowledge and different person. This awakening of knowledge is neither an automatic nor a material interaction. The supply source is the Lord himself, Dhyam. For even Brahma is also subject to this regulation of the Supreme Creator. In the beginning of the creation, Brahma is born first without any father and mother, because before Brahma there were no other living being. Brahma is born from lotus, which grows from abdomen of Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and therefore he is known as Aja. This Brahma or Aja is also a living being, part and parcel of the Lord. But being the most pious duty of Lord, Brahma is inspired by Lord to create, subsequent to main creation by the Lord through the agency of material nature. Therefore, neither the material nature nor Brahma is independent of the Lord. The material scientist can merely observe the reactions of electricity behind such activities, as a child can see the action of electricity without any knowledge of the powerhouse engineer. This imperfect knowledge of the material scientist is due to poor fund of knowledge. The Vedic knowledge was therefore first impregnated within Brahma, and it appears that Brahma distributed Vedic knowledge. Brahma is undoubtedly speaker of Vedic knowledge, but actually he was inspired by Lord to receive such transcendental knowledge as it directly depends from the Lord. The Vedas are therefore called apaurisha, or not imparted by any created being. Before the creation of the Lord was there, Narayana para avekta, and therefore the words spoken by the Lord as vibration of transcendental soul sound. There is a gulf of difference between the two qualities of sound, namely prakrut and aprakrut. The physicist can deal only with the prakrut sound or sound vibrated in the material sky. And therefore, we must know that the Vedic sounds recorded in symbolic expression cannot be understood by anyone within the universe unless and until one is inspired by the vibration of supernatural or prakrut sound, which descends in the chain of disciplic succession from the Lord to Brahma, from Brahma to Narayan and Narada, and Narada to Vyas, and so on. No mundane scholar can translate or reveal the true import of Vedic mantras, hymns. They cannot be understood unless one is inspired or initiated by the authorized spiritual master. The original spiritual master is the Lord Himself, and the succession comes down through the source of parampara, as clearly stated in the fourth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So, unless one receives the transcendental knowledge from the authorized parampara, one should be considered useless. Oh, viplava, vipalamata. even though one may be greatly qualified in the mundane advancement of art or science. Shukdev Goswami is praying from the Lord by dint of being inspired from within by the Lord so that he could rightly explain the facts and figures of creation as inquired by Maharaj Parikshit. A spiritual master is not a theoretical speculator like the mundane scholar, but is Shrotriyam, a Brahmanishtam as a fully independent devotee. Shukdev Goswami, unlike mundane man, who is proud of his own capability, invokes the pleasure of the personality of Godhead so that his statements may be successful and be appreciated by the hearers. The devotees always think of himself as instrumental for anything successfully carried out, and he declines to take credit for anything done by himself. The godless atheist wants to take all credit for activities, not knowing that even a blade of grass cannot move without the sanction of the Supreme Spirit, the personality of Godhead. Sukadeva Goswami therefore wants to move by the direction of Supreme Lord, who inspired Brahma to speak Vedic wisdom. The truth described in Vedic literature are not theories of mundane imagination, uh, nor are they fictitious as the less intelligent class of men sometimes think. The Vedic truths are all perfect descriptions of the factual truth without any mistake or illusion. And Shukadeva Goswami wants to present the truth of creation not as a metaphysical theory of philosophical speculation, but as the actual facts and figures of the subject, since he would be dictated to by the Lord exactly in the same manner as Brahmaji was inspired, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 15.15. The Lord is Himself the Father of the Vedanta knowledge, and it is He only who knows the factual purport of the Vedanta philosophy. So there is no greater truth than the principle of religion mentioned in the Vedas. Such Vedic knowledge or religion is disseminated by authorities like Shukdev Goswami because he is a humble devotional servitor of the Lord who has no desire to become a self appointed interpreter without authority. That is the way of explaining the Vedic knowledge, technically known as the Parampara system or descending process. The intelligent man can see without mistake that any material creation, whether one's own body or a fruit or flower, cannot beautifully grow up without the spiritual touch. The greatest intelligent man of the world or the greatest man of science can present everything very beautifully only insofar as the spirit's life is there or in so much is as the spiritual touch is there. Therefore the source of all truths is the supreme spirit and not gross matter as wrongly conceived by the gross materialist. We get information from the Vedic literature that the Lord himself was enter the vacuum of material universe, and thus all things gradually develop one after another. Similarly, the Lord is situated as localized the Paramatma in every individual being. Hence, everything is done by Him very beautifully. The 16 principal creative elements, namely earth, water, fire, air, sky, and the 11 sense organs, first developed from the Lord Himself and were thereby shared by the living entities. Thus, the material elements were created for the enjoyment of the living entities. The beautiful arrangement beyond all material manifestations is therefore made possible by the energy of the Lord, and the individual living entity can only pray to the Lord to understand it properly. Since the Lord is the supreme entity, different from Shukdev Goswami, the prayer can be offered to him. The Lord helps the living entity to enjoy material creation, but he is aloof from such false enjoyment. Shukdev prays for the mercy of the Lord, not only for being helped personally in presenting the truth, but also for helping others to whom he would like to speak. Om Jnana Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Nama Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please speak.
ईश्वरपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवां च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नम ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे
तारिणे
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
जय श्री
कृपा
कृष्ण चैतन्य
सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां
पतितानां
पावनेभ्यो
पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो
वैष्णवेभ्यो
नमः
नमो नमः।
जय श्री कृष्ण
जय श्री
चैतन्य
कृष्ण
प्रभु
चैतन्य प्रभु
नित्यानंद
नित्यानंद
श्री
श्री
अद्वैत
अद्वैत
गदाधर
गदाधर
शिवासादि
श्रीवासादि गौर
भक्तवृंद
भक्तवृंद
हरे
हरे
कृष्णा
कृष्ण
हरे कृष्णा
हरे कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्ण
कृष्ण
हरे
कृष्ण
हरे
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 राम
हरे
हरे
राम
राम
हरे
राम
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 हरे
राम
हरे
हरे हरे
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण हरे
कृष्ण हरे
कृष्ण
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 हरे हरे
कृष्ण हरे
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 राम
हरे
हरे
राम
राम
हरे
राम
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 हरे
राम
हरे
हरे
हरे कृष्ण
कृष्ण
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
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 हरे
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 राम
राम
हरे राम
हरे राम राम
राम
राम
राम
हरे
हरे हरे। तो
Hare
सुखदेव
Krishna.
गोस्वामी
Today we
जी
continue Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2nd, Chapter 4, the process of creation. We try to understand Shloka 22 and 23. In Shloka number 22, they describe about the beginning creation of amplified potent knowledge of the Brahma within his heart, which Supreme Personality gave in the heart, Brahma Hridaya, uh, and inspired full knowledge and giving full knowledge about the creation and uh, again about himself and taking this all knowledge Brahma creating the secondary manifestation and such a lord uh, uh, the Shukdev Goswami uh, Mangalacharan doing and giving his obeisances. And in second shloka, they describe about the uh, bodies of elements by lying down within the universe and Purush Avtara. Uh, how is the Purush Avtara caused by that? All these they describe. Prabhuji will tell us is nicely.
thank you
Hare
very much,
Krishna.
Mataji. In fact, this Mangalacharan wherein Krishna is being praised as the source of all knowledge, and then how he has created all the elements. All this is going to be described further in detail when we move to the sixth chapter and Brahmaji answers the questions raised by Narad Muni. So let us go through the basics which are being mentioned here before we go into the detail into the details later in the sixth chapter. The first basic is that the divine source of knowledge is Krishna. Now Krishna is in everyone's heart. We know about this in Bhagavad Gita 15.15. So right from Brahma to the smallest insect, and he gives knowledge to all according to the capacity. So all knowledge emanates from Krishna, and he inspires the hearts of all living beings. Even Brahma did not know what to do at first. The Lord inspired him from within and gave him Vedic knowledge. That is why Vedas are called as a puruṣa, not made by any human being. So if you see indirectly, even Brahmaji, whom we know is a creator, he is not independent in his creative act. He simply follows whatever are the instructions which he has received from Krishna. What this brings us to the second point is limitations of the conditions. Living beings, they possess only a fraction of the Lord's knowledge. Because of our constitutional position, we are the servants. Now, even if you look at the material level, servants don't know everything which the owner knows. Similarly, we have just a fraction of the knowledge. And upon death, all acquired knowledge is forgotten. And then Krishna again inspires a awakening of the knowledge in each new body that we take up. But then this knowledge, ideally the Vedic knowledge, has to be through parampara only. It is not learned by material effort alone. It is revealed by the Lord when one is sincere and connected to a proper spiritual teacher. The Vedas are a puruṣa, not created by man, being directly imparted by Lord. To true understanding of Vedic knowledge requires inspiration from Lord, which is passed down to disciplic succession, Guru Shishya Parampara, starting from Lord to Brahma, then Narad, Vyas, and so on. But then scholarship alone cannot reveal the true meaning of the Vedas. Because this knowledge is not dry information, it is divine sound that comes from the Lord to Brahma, then to Narad, and slowly directly to us. So, spiritual master has a very important role. The original spiritual master is Lord Himself, and genuine spiritual knowledge is received through authorized parampara. Without this, even the most qualified mundane scholar is considered to have failed in understanding spiritual truths. But there is a caution out here that we have to remain humble. So, humility and devotional attitude. Pure devotees like Shukdev Goswami attribute all success to the Lord and never take personal credit. The devotee's humility and dependence on the Lord enable the Lord to reveal Himself and grant true understanding. Shukdev Goswami ji does not say that I have this wisdom. No, he is praying to the Lord to make his words successful. So a real devotee never thinks I did this. He knows the Lord is behind everything. Even a blade of grass cannot move without his will. And that is where the supremacy of Krishna lies. Scriptural evidence, including statements from Brahma, Bhishma, Krishna himself, establish Krishna as the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom even Narayan expands. So, accepting Krishna's supremacy is the foundation of spiritual life. And Bhakti Yoga is the highest path. Bhakti Yoga, devotional service, is emphasized as the ultimate means of self realization, surpassing all forms of yoga and worship. Whether one desires material gain, liberation, or has no desires, worship of Krishna is always recommended. And Krishna is so merciful, he has incarnated in the form of the transcendental sound, which is so powerful. The Lord's words are transcendental vibrations, they are not ordinary material sound. So, real spiritual progress comes from regularly hearing and chanting the transcendental sound, especially as transmitted by pure devotees and spiritual masters, because that drives us towards practical application. The strength to inspire and convince others about spiritual truths comes from strict adherence to devotional practice, hearing, chanting, serving. The real goal is to become empowered preacher as envisioned by Srila Prabhupada. He followed the instructions of his spiritual master and therefore he could succeed. So knowledge originates from Lord. So all beings, they receive knowledge from Lord within their hearts. Vedas are divine revelation. Vedic knowledge is apparisha descending through disciplic succession, not human intervention. Parampara system is very important because true understanding requires receiving knowledge from authorized spiritual lineage. Humility of the devotee is paramount. Devotees see themselves as instruments. All credit belongs to the Lord. Krishna is supreme. Spiritual authorities, Krishna himself affirms his position as the original Supreme Lord. Bhakti Yoga is supreme because devotional service is the highest path for all seekers, regardless of their desires. And transcendental sound is powerful. Progress comes from hearing chanting under guidance of pure devotee. So the conclusion is that true spiritual knowledge and realization which comes from Lord can be received by us only through disciplic succession. And this knowledge is accessible only to those who approach with humility, with devotion. Supremacy of Lord Krishna is established through scriptural authority. Highest goal is loving devotional service, which is achieved by following the parampara system and engaging in regular devotional practices. So let us accept this and also remember that a devotee always remains humble and gives all credit to Krishna. Preaching is important, just believing is not enough. We should also be able to help others that Krishna is the supreme. The more we hear and chant sincerely, the more Krishna will give us strength and clarity. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So we'll recite the